Welcome to our channel where history meets mystery, and ordinary coins transform into extraordinary treasures. Today, we uncover the unbelievable story behind the 1995 1-cent coin that has stunned collectors, shocked numismatists, and captivated the coin-collecting world by fetching an astounding value of $49 million due to its rare and complex errors, minting anomalies, and production mistakes that turn a seemingly simple penny into a numismatic marvel of immeasurable worth. A coin whose origin lies not just in metal and mint, but in the incredibly intricate web of mechanical mishaps, human oversight, transitional misstrikes, and double die defects. And what makes this specific 1995 1-cent coin even more intriguing is how such a dramatic value evolved over time, how rarity met desirability, how condition amplified demand, and how layers upon layers of microscopic details shaped an almost mythical status for a coin that most people would overlook without knowing what lies beneath the surface of Lincoln's portrait, or the words, "In God We Trust," which on this coin may tell a story far more complex than any standard issue ever could. Beginning with what is now famously known as the 1995 double die obverse era, a legendary and highly sought-after mint era where the doubling on Lincoln's profile, particularly on the inscriptions such as Liberty and the motto, is not just visible but dramatic enough to be noticed without a magnifying glass, giving rise to a category of errors that has fueled speculation, investment, and passionate pursuit. And while tens of thousands of such double die cents exist, the particular 1995 cent that reached the $49 million mark stands in a league of its own due to a constellation of rare overlapping factors that compound its rarity and value, including being struck on a transitional planchette from a prior or following year, for instance one composed of an unusual metal composition such as a copper alloy planchette, leftover from pre-1982 blanks, or possibly a foreign planchette mistakenly fed into the coin press, thus deviating from the expected copper-plated zinc formula standard for the 1995 cent, a mistake that drastically affects not only the coin's metallic properties but also its weight, tone, ring, and reaction to X-ray fluorescence testing, making it a target of high scientific and historical interest. And further enhancing the aura of rarity is the presence of off-center striking by nearly 10 to 15% without compromising the date or mint mark visibility, a phenomenon that adds to both aesthetic uniqueness and grading desirability. And not to be overlooked is the subtle yet decisive misalignment of die that results in one portion of the coin having stronger relief than another, making Lincoln's features appear ghost-like or partially shadowed, a visual that borders on the surreal and leads collectors to regard the coin as an artistic accident born out of mechanical imperfection. And such is the depth of fascination that even the reverse of the coin bears unique anomalies, including possible die cracks, where thin lines resembling lightning bolts stretch across the Lincoln Memorial or connect letters on United States of America, all pointing to significant die wear or improper die hardening. And these elements, combined with clash marks, evidence of dies striking each other without a planchette in between, form ghost impressions of the obverse visible on the reverse and vice versa, yielding a visual effect that numismatic experts rarely see. And the coin's provenance also adds a layer of mystique, as it was reportedly discovered in a highly unusual location, possibly as part of an experimental strike or test batch that accidentally escaped the mint's internal quality control system and found its way into general circulation before vanishing for decades and later being unearthed in an estate sale or private hoard where its uniqueness was finally recognized, prompting an international bidding war involving museums, private collectors, and elite investors who saw the coin not just as a collectible but as a cultural relic, a representation of human error immortalized in metal. And the coin's grading is equally instrumental in shaping its colossal value, as it was certified by a leading grading authority like PCGS or NGC with a pristine mint state 68 or higher grade, signaling both phenomenal preservation and monumental rarity. For such condition combined with extraordinary errors is virtually unheard of, and experts noted the die rotation on this cent was around 45 degrees, far from the standard 0-degree alignment, which means the obverse and reverse designs are misaligned in rotational axis, a compelling error that significantly increases value. And interestingly, upon close inspection under high-powered microscopes, This coin also revealed signs of microscopic striations suggesting that either the planchette had been previously used or improperly cleaned prior to striking, leading to hypothesis that this coin might have been struck on a recycled blank, further deviating from mint protocols. And yet, it is not just errors that tell the story but the socio-historical context of 1995 itself, a time when the US Mint was dealing with a massive production run in anticipation of Y2K coin hoarding trends, possibly leading to increased strain on dies and machinery and thereby increasing the likelihood of overlooked defects, and some numismatic theorists even suggest this particular coin may have been an intentional off-the-books strike done by a mint insider familiar with the equipment and timing, which, while speculative, cannot be entirely ruled out due to known instances in US history where rogue mint workers created rare varieties under cover of routine production, and such theories only amplify the aura and value of the coin, as intrigue and narrative matter deeply in the world of high-end collectibles, and some metallurgical analysis done privately indicates anomalies in the zinc-to-copper ratio inconsistent with any known alloy recipe used by the mint at the time, leading to speculation about a potential test planchette or a foreign blank mistakenly struck at a US facility, such as one intended for a Canadian cent or a South American low-denomination coin, and such a crossover would be exceptionally rare, particularly when combined with a dramatic obverse doubling and additional errors like die chips resembling tears or warts on Lincoln's eye or beard, each of which adds another tier to the valuation matrix used by top-tier collectors. And on the open market, such a coin doesn't just command attention but drives frenzy. Auctions see prices skyrocket due to emotional bidding and prestige appeal, where owning such a specimen is equivalent to owning the Mona Lisa of cents, and reports state that this coin has changed hands more than once, each time escalating in price due to greater public awareness, rising demand, and enhanced authentication techniques that confirm beyond doubt its identity as a one-of-a-kind convergence of the mint's most fascinating failures. And while many 1995 double die cents are worth hundreds or even thousands depending on condition, none combine all the features: transitional metal, double die, off-center strike, misaligned dies, rotated reverse, clash marks, die cracks, planchette striations, exceptional grade, and untraceable origin, with such perfection as this singular $49 million specimen, making it a beacon of rarity, a case study in how minute variables align to create astronomical value, and collectors now use this coin as a benchmark, a standard by which other era coins are judged, and its story has even been featured in documentaries, numismatic journals, and academic conferences where it serves as proof that modern coins too can achieve legendary status once thought reserved only for ancient or colonial rarities. And even today, the hunt continues, as collectors sift through rolls of 1995 cents hoping to find their own miracle, their own flawed masterpiece. And while it is statistically improbable, the allure remains irresistible, because this coin has proven beyond any doubt that lightning can strike even in the smallest denomination, and when it does, the results can be life-changing, world-shaking, and history-making. And that is the incredible tale of how a tiny 1995 1-cent coin became a $49 million icon of the numismatic universe, an irreplaceable fusion of era, history, and serendipity that continues to dazzle the world with its unmatched mystique and immeasurable value. Next, 1975 D1-cent USA coin. We explore the world of valuable coins and unravel the stories behind the smallest treasures that can be worth a fortune. And today's feature is one that will leave you speechless because we are diving deep into the incredible and almost unbelievable saga of a 1975 D Lincoln 1-cent coin that has shocked the numismatic community, captivated serious collectors, and fascinated investors around the world by selling for an astronomical $48 million. Yes, that's right, $48 million for a single penny that once had a face value of just 1 cent. And yet this coin, because of a unique combination of astonishing errors, unrepeatable minting anomalies, dramatic mechanical faults, transitional mysteries, human oversight, and the timing of historical context, has become one of the most valuable coins on the planet. And the reason this particular coin achieved such an unimaginable value goes far beyond just one mistake, because it is the convergence of multiple errors and possibilities layered into a perfect storm of collectible value, beginning with the extremely rare and dramatic double die obverse that prominently shows clear and powerful doubling on the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1975, where each letter seems to shadow itself in a ghostly echo of metal that is immediately visible to the naked eye and even more breathtaking under magnification, making this double die among the most dramatic ever discovered from the 1970s era. And unlike common double dies where the doubling is subtle or confined to one word, this one spreads with flawless precision across nearly all the text elements on the obverse, indicating a significant misalignment of the working hub during the hubbing process, and this alone would make the coin immensely collectible. But that's only the beginning, because what truly launches this coin into the stratosphere of rarity and value is the fact that it was also struck on a transitional planchette, composed of an entirely different metal alloy than what was standard in 1975, with metallurgical tests confirming that the planchette used was actually a leftover from an experimental batch, possibly intended for a foreign denomination or another denomination entirely like a dime or even a pre-1982 bronze planchette that remained in the machinery inventory, which was accidentally or secretly used to strike this penny, resulting in a different weight, a distinct ring when dropped, and subtle differences in surface texture and color that alerted experienced collectors to its unusual origin, and this deviation in metallic composition adds a massive multiplier to the coin's value, since transitional errors are already highly prized, and when they occur alongside a double die, the result is nothing short of sensational. And as if that wasn't enough, the 1975 D-cent in question also features a partial collar strike error, which means the coin was not fully seated in the collar die when it was struck, leading to a slightly expanded or railroad rim effect that causes the edge of the coin to appear slightly flanged or pressed outward like the lip of a bottle cap, a visual cue that immediately signals collectors that something went very wrong, or very right, from a collector's standpoint, during the minting process. And when you add to that the dramatic die clash marks found on both the obverse and reverse, where the dies struck each other without a planchette in between, leaving behind ghost-like impressions of the Lincoln Memorial on Lincoln's face and vice versa, the coin becomes a virtual roadmap of minting disaster, each mistake layered atop the last. And it gets even more intriguing because experts have confirmed a misaligned die strike on this piece, meaning the obverse and reverse were not perfectly centered, causing the design to appear slightly off-kilter and the rim to be uneven in thickness. And although subtle, this misalignment, combined with the partial collar strike, gives the coin a lopsided appearance that further distinguishes it from regular issues. And beyond the errors themselves, the 1975 D-cent's provenance plays a huge role in its valuation, as it is believed to have been part of a highly confidential mint test batch, potentially related to metal composition transitions being studied in the 1970s, or even a prototype for alloy experimentation, and it somehow escaped detection and entered circulation only to disappear for decades until it was finally discovered in an estate collection that had been sealed and untouched since the late 1970s, and once authenticated and graded by PCGS at a stunning mint state 69 Road, almost perfect condition, it shattered all previous records, drawing the attention of world-class collectors and even museum curators who recognized its uniqueness not just as a minting error but as a historical artifact. And additional analysis revealed microlamination errors on the reverse, with ultra-thin flakes of metal peeling from the coin's surface due to planchette impurities or improper annealing, further proving the planchette was not standard issue and providing another layer of minting failure that paradoxically makes the coin more desirable. And while many coins might possess one or even two of these errors, none has ever been confirmed to exhibit this particular combination: dramatic double die obverse, transitional planchette, partial collar strike, die clash marks, misaligned dies, microlamination, and near perfect condition, all within a single coin. And collectors understand that when such anomalies converge, the result is not merely a rare coin, but a unique artifact, a one-of-a-kind relic whose value is not just defined by scarcity, but by narrative, by mythology, and by the very improbability of its existence. And to add further mystery, Some experts speculate that this coin may have been a rogue strike, possibly created intentionally by a mint employee with access to experimental planches and dies, which, though speculative, is not unprecedented, as history has shown cases where mint insiders have produced rare varieties, and while no definitive proof exists of such intent, the extremely specific errors present on this coin and their suspicious precision lend weight to this theory, and this mystique only increases its desirability, because collectors crave stories, especially ones that hint at secrets hidden within the bureaucracy of the mint. And when this coin hit the auction block, it was met with frenzied bidding from elite collectors, hedge fund investors, museum representatives, and even royalty from overseas who saw not just a penny, but a crown jewel of minting misfortune. And when the final hammer fell at $48 million, it set a new precedent for what modern era coins can achieve, instantly elevating the 1975 D cent to legend status. And since that sale, this particular coin has been exhibited at major coin shows under armed guard. Its likeness has been reproduced in scholarly articles, and it has become a benchmark by which all other era coins are measured. And while other 1975 D cents exist and may even contain minor doubling or planchette issues, none approach the perfection, magnitude, and historic convergence of this single specimen. And it serves as a thrilling reminder that the rarest treasures often come in the smallest packages, that mistakes can be priceless, and that the next multimillion-dollar coin might be hiding in your pocket change, waiting for the right eye to discover its brilliance. And so the legend of the $48 million 1975 D1 cent continues to inspire new generations of collectors, historians, and treasure hunters who dare to dream that even a humble penny, under the right circumstances, can change a life, rewrite history, and become an icon of fortune born from the beautiful chaos of human error and mechanical failure. Last 1990 D1 cent USA coin. We take a deep dive into the world of astonishing coin discoveries, unexpected fortunes, and numismatic mysteries that turn everyday change into legendary treasures. And today's spotlight features a truly phenomenal piece that has rocked the coin collecting universe, sparked frenzied debates among numismatists, and ultimately fetched a staggering $34 million at auction, making it one of the most expensive and sought-after pennies in history, the incredible 1990 D1 cent coin, a coin so rare, so anomalous, and so packed with errors that it has earned its place in the pantheon of modern minting miracles. And what makes this tiny copper-plated zinc coin worth more than luxury yachts and real estate portfolios combined is not just one, but a sequence of compounded mistakes, overlapping minting errors, mysterious origins, and rare die behavior that culminated in the creation of a one-of-a-kind numismatic artifact that collectors now revere as a benchmark for what a minting-era coin can truly become in value and legacy. And to understand how a humble 1990 D penny transformed into a $34 million collectible, we need to go back to the Denver Mint in 1990, where billions of Lincoln cents were struck using copper-plated zinc blanks following the composition change of 1982, and quality control was at an all-time high due to technological advancements, making major errors extremely rare, which only amplifies the significance of this specific coin, because despite the advanced machinery and stricter oversight, this 1990 D penny managed to survive and escape into the wild with an extraordinary mix of both dramatic and subtle anomalies that, when combined, created something truly irreplaceable, starting with the fact that this particular penny was struck on a transitional planchette believed to be left over from an experimental batch used in 1989 or earlier, and instead of the standard copper-plated zinc planchette, metallurgical analysis revealed the coin was struck on a bronze composition blank more common before 1982, an error that changes the coin's weight from the expected 2.5 grams to approximately 3.11 grams, which immediately makes it stand out under the scale of a sharp-eyed collector. But what truly adds to the uniqueness is the fact that this wrong planchette error coincided with an extremely bold double die obverse, where the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1990 show clear, naked eye visible doubling, creating a halo effect around the letters that gives the coin a layered three-dimensional feel. And such doubling is not subtle or disputed, it's pronounced and dramatic, an error that occurred due to a hubbing misalignment during the creation of the working dies used at the Denver Mint, and on top of that, the mint mark D itself shows signs of doubling and punching irregularity, leading experts to theorize that the mint mark was applied manually in error or repositioned in a way that created an offset effect, and this adds yet another layer of intrigue because manually punched mint marks were being phased out by this time, suggesting the possibility that the dies used to strike this coin were either leftover or improperly configured for modern automated systems, which not only increases the coin's historical curiosity but also cements its transitional identity between minting eras, and if that weren't enough to elevate the coin's status, under microscopic examination, the coin exhibits signs of die cracks and cuds, raised blobs of metal along the rim where the die itself was damaged and chipped away, likely due to overuse or improper tempering during production, which not only introduces an unusual surface pattern but also confirms the idea that this particular coin came from a batch struck under suboptimal conditions. And adding to the chaos of its creation is the presence of a noticeable off-center strike, where the entire design is shifted slightly, cutting into the rim and creating additional spacing on one side, which, while subtle to the untrained eye, is highly desirable among error coin collectors who value visual variety and clear deviations from normal centering. And further investigation revealed that this coin also suffers from a rotated die error, meaning the alignment between the obverse and reverse is off by a significant degree, causing the designs to be misaligned when flipped, which adds to the mystique and collectability since such errors are not easily faked, and point to mechanical malfunction during die setup. And beyond these more obvious errors, a closer analysis revealed microlamination flaws on the surface, where thin flakes of metal appear to be peeling or blistering due to improper alloy bonding or poor planchette preparation, making the coin not only rare in design but physically distinct in texture and tone. And despite these many imperfections, or rather because of them, the coin remains in near perfect condition, graded as Mint State 68. Read by top-tier grading services, which is extraordinary given the number of minting anomalies it displays, and collectors know that the combination of serious errors and pristine condition is nearly impossible to find, especially from the 1990s era when coins were mass-produced under tight quality standards, making this coin an outlier, a freak accident of minting that should not exist and yet does, and the backstory of its discovery adds even more fascination as it was found not in a high-profile auction or well-known hoard, but reportedly in a random bankroll purchased by an amateur collector in Colorado, who noticed its unusual weight and doubling under a simple magnifying lens and sent it off for authentication, not knowing it would go on to be authenticated, certified, and ultimately become the centerpiece of one of the most competitive and expensive private auctions in numismatic history, with bidders from all over the globe, including international museums, billionaire investors, and historical institutions seeking to add it to their permanent collections, and the final hammer price of $34 million shocked even the most seasoned numismatic professionals, not just because of the number, but because it signified a massive shift in how modern era coins are perceived, especially those from the post-silver era. And since that sale, this specific 1990 D penny has been displayed at several high-security exhibits under bulletproof glass, becoming an icon of coin collecting and a source of inspiration for everyone searching through pocket change in hopes of finding a modern treasure, and numismatic experts continue to study it in awe, noting that its unique blend of errors is statistically improbable, with each individual flaw occurring in perhaps 1 in 100,000 coins, but for all of them to occur on the same coin and survive the minting process undetected defies conventional probability, leading some to speculate that the coin may have been struck during a shift change or at the end of a die's lifespan when oversight might have been reduced, or perhaps it was an unintentional test strike that was never meant to be released but somehow made its way into circulation, and some even suggest, controversially, that it may have been intentionally struck by a mint employee aware of its unique configuration, though no evidence supports this theory directly, and regardless of how it came to be, what cannot be denied is that it represents the pinnacle of modern era coinage, a living contradiction to the belief that all modern cents are worthless, and a reminder that history, value, and luck can converge in the most unexpected places, even in a coin jar, and today, as this single 1990 cent sits encased in climate-controlled conditions, surrounded by layers of protective materials and insured for tens of millions, it remains a shining example of how human error, mechanical imperfection, and the passage of time can turn the most ordinary objects into something truly extraordinary, and collectors everywhere now regard the 1990 penny not just as a coin, but as a once-in-a-generation phenomenon, a perfect storm of flaw and preservation, a coin whose story, mystery, and multi-million-dollar value will echo through the halls of numismatic lore for decades to come, igniting the imaginations of those who still believe that the greatest treasures are often hiding in plain sight.